It's Sunday and it's time to do a price video, and in today's video we're going to take a look at MOVR, we're going to look at Edgeware, and we're going to look at RMRK. Now the reason I'm going to look at Edgeware is because it had a nice pop recently, and we're going to take a look at that and kind of estimate where could it head to, right? Because we could possibly estimate based on its historical price, of course, but nothing is ever guaranteed. It's always a probability. It's always a game of probability. But looking at Moonriver here, so we had that massive dump, as you well know, where we went to like 44 bucks there, and then we started picking back up with the market when Bitcoin pumped. However, as you can see, we had this massive week here to just over 70 bucks, but the reason why we couldn't break higher here is because of the resistance that it encountered, which was previously support. We've got this area here, which is not actually the resistance that we encountered. We're going to zoom out a bit and you're going to see where. So this is the problem right here. As you can see, if we zoom out to this area here, this is all the way from back at the beginning of the year, just towards the end of January here when we started the dumping, okay, and we went down to around $71. We managed to hold around this area, and what's actually nasty here is the fact that we've accumulated around this area for all of the rest of January, starting from the end here, from the 24th when we had the dump, all the way into February. And that's actually really bad, because now this area has become resistance for us. This used to be support. It was great, right? We moved back up, everything looked bullish, but the fact that we've broken below it and it's been accumulating for so many days here, it's actually hurting us. So that's the reason why you're seeing a struggle here with the price, and we may struggle when we're going to try to retouch that area. Should we retouch it? I do think we're going to retouch it as long as Bitcoin holds around 44k. We need Bitcoin to hold around this area. The longer Bitcoin holds around this area, the more chances we have to retouch it. And I think if Bitcoin goes to even 50k, because it could, right? It is it's always a surprise. It's never what people are expecting. It's always the unexpected, right, with crypto in general. So if that is the case, then we could just break past that area. I'm not saying we won't, but we're likely going to retest it. We're going to bounce back down, and then if we try it a third time, I think we're going to break past it. So that's just my personal opinion on that. And now we're accumulating, which is good, right? We are struggling around 60 bucks here. We had a little bit of a dip here to 58 yesterday, and now we've picked back up again. But I do think we're going to be accumulating around this area here for a while, considering that Bitcoin is doing okay-ish, and we do have a bit of a support now as well. So this is going to act as a bit of a support. This one here, which is good, right? It should hold us as long as there's nobody dumping heavy bags on us, right? Look, as you can see here, we're starting to pick back up to 62 rapidly here, 62.60, heading to 63 very soon, as we can see here. Look at this, look at this. Imagine if this goes back to 70 while we're doing this video. This would be amazing, right? I've never actually had something like that happen while I was recording a video. Look, breaking 63 now. So yeah, it looks like there's some buying pressure here, probably because of Bitcoin. I haven't taken a look at Bitcoin's price here. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin's price just to see if that's the reason. I'm assuming it is. Let's look at the BTC USDC chart here. Yeah, it looks like we are picking up here with Bitcoin. Because of this, we're likely seeing Moonriver perform the same here. Look at this. This is really nice. Okay, so 64 bucks probably now, heading towards that area anyway. So yeah, Moonriver is going to be holding, I think, around this area. We're going to be okay-ish around 60. Should we break above 70, then we're going to move into the bull zone. And that's definitely very good, very, very good for us holders, because if we go into the bull zone, if we break above 70, which means we'll be breaking this area of resistance, that would mean the next area of resistance that we could counter is around $90 here, around this area here, $88 to $90, and maybe a little bit around this area as well, around 85-ish. But I think anywhere between $85 and $90 is where we're going to be looking at, right? And that's really, really good. Then the next area is not going to be until we get to around 150, and then we've got this massive resistance to break here at 170, which I'm not thinking is going to happen anytime soon. As much as I'd like to see this happen, I don't think it's going to happen very soon. It's going to be very hard, but if there's enough buy pressure, if Bitcoin does well, who knows, right? We could just be turning around here once again and breaking above 100 and seeing Moonriver in the bull zone once again, keeping everyone happy, right? But we'll see. Next up, let's take a look at the Edgeware here. And as you can see, Edgeware has had a massive pump here, which would look like a pump and dump. If you didn't know any better, here it looks like this was being manipulated by somebody, right? As you can see, this massive trigger that we had here, we ripped to the upside, then we accumulated a little bit here, and then we ripped once again even higher here to almost 1.5 cent to be exact. Yeah, exactly 1.5 cents, exactly that, right? That's amazing there. And then we dumped right down here. As you can see, we tried to go back up again above 1.2, but we dumped right back down because they're likely a lot of people that have been accumulating Edgeware all the way from here, probably even before that, right? We used to be, what were we at here? We were at under 1 cent for quite some time here. As you can see, we had some weeks to over 1 cent, but the majority of time it was a sixth of a cent here, as you can see, right? And this was before the pumps in November, right? In November last year, we're doing okay. We're at 2 cents, more or less. But ever since we had a massive dump here, people that have been accumulating have decided to sell, right? It's as simple as that. I mean, of course, seeing this kind of week here after accumulating for so long and after seeing this downside momentum and having to bear all this pain, of course people are going to be selling, right? So why did it pump? Well, we think it's because of a new exchange listing, right? That could be one of the reasons, but it's also because Edgeware are going to be launching their crowd loan on Polkadot eventually. They are going to launch the one on Kusama first, Kabocha, but the next is going to be on Polkadot. Now, unfortunately, Kabocha is not going to have an EVM functionality, but Edgeware will have an EVM functionality, which means they're going to be a competitor, a direct competitor, I should say, to Moonbeam and to Aster Network. Now, they don't have the same kind of support as Aster and Moonbeam do, but I do think they're going to do well, right? Just because they're an EVM solution and anyone can deploy their DEXs, their DeFi solutions, or anything you could think of, NFT platforms, whatever you could think of, over to Edgeware, right? There's a marketplace for both, right? There is room for both, or I should say for all three, not only for Moonbeam and Astra, but also for Edgeware. Okay, so yeah, that's one of the reasons I think why this has been doing well, or it could just be a pump and dump. It could be that as well. We never know. Market manipulators are there. They will pick random tokens and they'll just pump them straight away and cause FOMO in the community, and then they'll dump on you. If the community had a lot to sell, then they likely did, and they were thinking, okay, we can buy back now after the market pulls back, because after this massive catalyst here, you're likely going to see a pullback. There's like 99.99% chance you're going to see a pullback. Even after something like this, you normally see a pullback, but after something like this is like 100% confirmation that you will see some sort of pullback. There's just no way in these market conditions that you're going to see this price hold up. You have to be a real moon boy or a moon girl to think this something like this could happen, right? So yeah, could we go back up here? Perhaps, but I'm just not seeing this happen yet. There is struggle now. As you can see here, we did hit support, which is good for Edgeware holders around the sixth of a cent here. This area is acting as support here, and we'll likely have it further in the historical chart here as well. If we look further here, we could see that as well. And look at this, this is going to be really hard to break now. Okay, so it will take more because as you can see, a seventh of a cent is where most of the resistance is at now. So that's going to be nasty for the holders. They're going to have to bear through this now. But they're definitely happy if they've managed to sell above 1 cent after waiting for so long, especially if they've dollar cost average here and they've accumulated. Yeah, it's definitely going to be good. So yeah, good project. There's still time for it to develop, right? But I do think this was a bit of a pump and dump personally. I think this was the reason. Don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you've been following Edgeware for longer and if you think there was a different reason for this. I'm not saying it's organized by the team. I'm just saying it could be organized by pump and dump groups because they randomly pick tokens and they just say, okay, let's pump this, and then they do it, right? Next, let's talk about RMRK here, which is the last one. I'm not going to do one on DOT and KSM because there's not much point to drag it. I'm just going to focus on these three for today. So RMRK is holding okay-ish around $14 here. It is encountering a lot of resistance around this area, as you can see, because we've got this level here of resistance which acted as support before. When we dumped down exactly to this area here where you see the line. So there's a reason why we're holding around this area and accumulating. However, this is forming a bit of a bull flag here, so I'm definitely happy with this. We could see RMRK go back up here to around $16 anytime now. It all depends if Bitcoin holds. Like I said, it's very much dependent on Bitcoin. This whole market is dependent on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, we haven't split from Bitcoin, so we have a big dependency on it. So because of that, we're gonna see the market react with Bitcoin. Okay, And what usually happens is when Bitcoin is bullish all of a sudden and it gets like a quick pop, the altcoins normally dump or they hold stable, and then it takes the altcoins maybe even a week later, a week longer before they'll actually end up doing well. So we got to keep that in mind. And now RMRK is nicely accumulating here. We're not seeing too much sell pressure. We may not see levels of under $14 very soon, maybe the odd week here and there, but I don't think that we're going to see massive dumps here unless Bitcoin, of course, tricks us and goes right down, right? As you can see, we're holding quite okay-ish here around this area here. We do have some sort of support now up to 13.9. 10,000 RMRK would have to be sold here right into the market, whereas on the upside you need you get to $15 if you buy 10,000 RMRK, right? So there's definitely a more bullish side here than the bearish side, especially because we're also at support now. So yeah, I do think RMRK can hold around this area for another while, and then we're likely going to go higher. We're likely going to retest around $16, and then we're going to probably stabilize around there. But of course, we'll revisit this next week to see what's going on, what's the state of the market, as always, every single Sunday. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take care. Bye-bye.